Good evening. It is April 22nd, 2026 and 6:01 p.m. This is our regular board meeting. And I would like to ask Clerk Milner to please take attendance.
Director Biermeyer.
Here.
Director Michael Mulder.
Here.
Director Zuzek.
Gladly here.
Vice Chair Dressley.
Here.
Chair Tate.
Here.
Director Bruns.
Here.
And Director Milner here.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to ask everyone who's able to please stand and remove your headwear for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Biermeyer makes a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
And I move to amend the agenda by adding ISD 200 Policy 419, Tobacco-Free Environment, as item 8B3 under individual, or items for individual action. And this is due to the Dakota County Vape Waste Awareness Event that's scheduled for May 6th, 2026.
Thank you. All right, so now we have a motion to approve the agenda and we have a motion to amend the agenda.
Accept the amendment.
So will you accept the amendment?
I accept the amendment.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Now could I get a second, please?
Michael Miller seconds.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. 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 All those opposed, say nay. All right, motion passes unanimously to approve the agenda. And I apologize, I need to back up 1 second.
Yep.
I want to recognize that we have 2 student school board members at the table as well tonight, as well as our superintendent. I apologize for not mentioning that earlier. So. All right. Now I'd like to welcome everyone into the room. Thank you for coming tonight and attending both in person and online. And for those who are watching in the future, we appreciate your support and engagement in ISD 200. Now we have our Raider Spotlight. Superintendent Werkamperman.
Thank you. So tonight, it is an honor of mine to present to you our employees of the semester. This is a very important honor in that it's colleagues that are nominating them as the outstanding employee of the semester. And there's a lot of incredible staff here, so that competition is fierce. However, we've had some rise to the top of winning, and I'm going to announce their names, and if they would all come forward, I would appreciate that. Krista Geeson, Administrative Assistant at the high school. Laura Zabel, Math Teacher at the high school. Andy Larson, Curriculum Coordinator. Lindy Humble, Administrative Assistant. Bonnie Whitehill, second grade teacher at McCullough, and Linda Berg, a paraprofessional at McCullough.
Lindy was taking the pictures and did you do a selfie? Did you do a selfie for yours? That would have been a great idea. Yeah, you should have.
Everybody smile.
Welcome.
Wait, Anne's coming around. Anne's coming around. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, if this is on, yes.
They get so nervous and yet they're in front of kids all the time.
Okay, perfect. All right, Nell's going. Who's gonna go? They're gonna make it
All right.
first.
Welcome and congratulations, first of all.
Awesome, thank you. Do I have to push something?
Yep, just push the button.
Technology. Look at that. Very exciting. And it worked, which is even better. Well, I'm Laura Zabel. For those of you who don't know who I am, I know, like many of you, I think. This is year 32 for me, and I think later in the agenda, you're approving my retirement, which is also kind of, yeah. So, no, that's true. Please, no, I'm just kidding. No, it's been wonderful. I have a few things I was going to say. I'll say on Friday because I checked the box to say I would say something, and now I'm kind of, why did I say that? But it's been a wonderful journey with meeting so many amazing people and students throughout all of the years that I've been here, and I believe passionately in our power to affect change and be the light for someone in their day and in their moment. And it's been a privilege to work with my colleagues, and I will miss it, but I will also enjoy maybe prioritizing. It's hard for me. If you've done the Clifton Strengths and you look at mine, you understand that it's hard for me to like not do things. So Mr. Zabel is really looking forward to my retirement. So anyway, thank you. It was wonderful.
Ms. Zabel, quick
Yes.
question.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Question.
What are your Clifton strengths? You've intrigued us.
Well, you're achiever, discipline, communication, consistency, and another type A disaster one. Yeah.
And your husband's still excited for you to retire and be with
Yes, exactly. I'm going to be like laminating and alphabetizing, and it's wonderful. Yeah. That's what's right about me. It's really, yeah, exactly. So there you go.
I'll go quickly. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys. And looking up here, seeing the pictures of all the amazing people, it really is an honor to be named as one of the employees of the semester. So I just want to thank everybody for that. And then just thank the people that I work with and the kids that come to me every single day. One of the great things about teaching here in Hastings is how every kid that walks through my door has a different experience and a different perspective and a different personality. And so it makes every lesson every year different. There's not a day that goes by that's the same. And so I really love that part of teaching. And so I just love that I can continue to learn while also teach at the same time. So thank you guys.
So hold on, Ms. Whitehill. I have to make a comment. It was, I think, 2 months ago at a board meeting, and I told you about a Socratic seminar. Oh, yeah. And I told you about the teacher who had second graders, and the wait time was impressive. I told you I don't have good wait time. That was not good for me. This is our teacher right here. And I tell you, she did amazing. It was truly amazing. So I invite you to go see it sometime. Yeah. Awesome.
We're there every day.
Didn't you refer to her as like the Miss Rachel of Hastings? Didn't you say that? I swear, ever since you said that, I was like, I want to figure out who that is. And I think it was you. So well done.
Awesome. I don't know. I'll take it as a compliment. But awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, I'm Linda Berg. I've been in Hastings School District for 32 years as a para. 20 to 25 of those years have been with English second language students. And I also, like Laura, am retiring this year, mostly because my job was eliminated. But I have had such a wonderful time teaching these kids how to read and how to become active members of society. I just want to tell you some of the jobs they have now that of the kids that I know. One is a pharmacy tech. There's one boy who has worked for NASA. There are 3 nurses. There are activists in their community, and there are restaurant owners and managers. And I'm just so proud of the way Hastings has fed into these kids the skills that they need to be accomplished members of our community. So.
And to comment back, we're really proud of all the work that all of you do. I mean, it shows the prize is in the pudding. I mean, our kids are amazing, and we know, parents are a huge aspect, but yeah, well done. You guys have been kicking butt.
Linda, if you just a moment. I want to comment on one more thing, and you and I have this in common. We both care deeply about Sandra Hisakuni.
Yes.
And yes, and Sandra Hisakuni was an ESL teacher who was trilingual actually, and she told me something that I didn't understand until I was told, and then as soon as I heard it, it made a real big light bulb, and the board should know this. Our multilingual kids underestimate the glory, the power, and the capacity that having 2 languages or 3 languages give them. And they come here and they feel like they're at the bottom of the barrel because they only speak English. But if we can help them, if our program can help them to understand that the more languages you know, the better you are, period.
Yeah.
You know, so I just thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like being behind the screen. Thank you. It is an honor. Wouldn't be this without the team of people that I work with, both in the district office, district-wide, community, the school board. I work with many across the board. So, yeah, thank you.
So I'd like to comment, you know, Lindy has one of the hardest jobs in this district because she has to manage so many different things all on time. And she has done an excellent job of learning her role. She does she strives for excellence in everything she does. And I know that when she says she's going to do something, she always will. And she always puts 100% into everything. And that is commendable. And for that, I am so grateful that she's here with us, supporting all of you, all of the district office, and most importantly, me. I can't thank you enough because I can be demanding, and she's just so flexible and always there. And so I just can't say enough about how well she is, and she deserves this very much.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to all of our employees of the semester, and wish you good luck in getting Employee of the Year as well. That will come up this Friday. Right, that's Friday. Friday, yeah, this Friday. And just thank you again, for showing up every single day for our students and doing what you do, because it's amazing people like you guys who turn out our amazing students, right? It's phenomenal. So I know Mr. Larson couldn't be here. He's actually running the Gifted and Talented meeting tonight with parents. And Krista Geeson is not here either. But yes, thank you to them as well. So next up, we would typically have our public comment, but we didn't have anyone sign up tonight. So we are rolling right into our reports and discussions. So we'll start with our student report. And and we only have 2 students, so we have 2 covering for the 4. So first up is Student Representative Henson.
All right, so starting off with Kennedy, they had their Cougar News Network video, which is a fun video where students highlight and celebrate the events around Kennedy. And then they had their in-class music performances on Friday, May 8th, and then the students showcase what they learned in music class throughout the year, and then there's some pictures of that. I remember doing this in elementary school, which was super fun. And then this first grade Sheldon theater trip, students went to the Sheldon Theater in Red Wing to watch a cool performance of Pete the Cat. And then they had their super fun end-of-year carnival on May 29th, and then stay tuned for the volunteer sign-up list soon to be posted. And then at Tilden, students practice reading skills by reading It Looks Like Spoiled Milk by Charles J. Shaw. And then the preschoolers created artwork based off the story. And then they had their in-town field trip to Spiral Co-ops. They celebrated their learning and helped make connections to the community. And then the preschoolers participated in a very fun bear hunt around Tilden. They practiced using location describing words like high, low, and medium, which you can see all those bears right there. And then they had unexpectedly found spring baby bunnies under the slide at recess, and that helped them connect through nature and had an authentic experience. And then I think if you scroll down, you can see some of those baby bunnies right there. They're super cute. And then due to a Spark grant, preschoolers have been able to have fun with a new racing track, so you can see that outside and then indoors, which looks super fun. And then they had their early childhood end of the year family picnic, May 14th, which is 5 to 6 p.m. at Tilden in the backyard playground. And then there's just a flyer of that. All right, and then since Student Representative Durfee is gone today, I will be giving her report. So April 9th, the Young Authors class starts weekly at 8 a.m. for students to pursue their love of writing and the learning the necessary skills it takes to become an author. And then April 16th, McAuliffe had a severe weather drill. And then again on April 16th, third graders at McAuliffe have been learning about immigration and had also brought in meaningful artifacts to represent their chosen country to share their heritage, as well as learn about their classmates' heritage. And there's a picture of that. And on April 17th, Climb Theater came in to give a very meaningful presentation of self-awareness and control. And then on April 20th to 23rd, kindergartners and first graders demonstrate their love of music during their music performances. April 27th, the fourth graders will give a very educational presentation on what they learned about the Revolutionary War. And then on May 1st, first graders will take a fun field trip to the Works Museum. All right, and then going on to Pinecrest. April 10th is the last day to get yearbooks. April 11th, All-Stars Elementary Choir concert hosted at Tartan High School. April 16th, fourth graders take a field trip to the MN History Center. April 16th through the 17th, Pinecrest K through first graders students will share their musical talents through their performances. April 17th, Mr. Leontovich class will perform class plays. April 17th, the third and fourth graders running club begins. April 21st, MCA math testing begins. April 23rd, first graders take an exciting field trip to the Minnesota Zoo. April 24th, there's no school. April 27th, kindergartners take a fun field trip to Dakota County City Heritage. April 28th, MCA reading tests begin. April 28th again, author Mary Blackwell will come to visit the second grade classrooms. April 30th, second graders will take a field trip to Gibbs Farm. April 30th, Pinecrest Elementary Fun Run from 5:30 to 7:30 to help support the students at Pinecrest and help fund the future family events. There will be food trucks, music, and fun game/activities. There's also a chance to win cool prizes like the pool passes to the Hastings Family Aquatic Center, tickets to the Minnesota Zoo, and tickets to see the St. Paul Saints. Catch Mr. Baker as the Pinecrest Pirate.
So for anybody who hasn't seen it, check out Mr. Baker's commercials on Facebook. They're awesome promoting this event. I had to stop and watch it. I usually don't stop and watch things on Facebook. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It was awesome. Yep.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, and then we have Student Representative Banky covering for Student Representative Suarez Garcia and her own report.
All right, let's get into the high school here. There wasn't much going on apparently, but the Empty Bowls was the event where the ceramic students make bowls and give them to the community, and it's a big fundraising event. And then the Spanish Honor Society managed it, and the bowls were donated by the students, and the goal was to raise money for Hastings Community Services. And from many people, I heard it was very well attended and a very good event. And then the National Honor Society had our annual food drive where we went all around town and we went door to door collecting the donated food. And then the morning of prom, this Saturday, we will host the annual Gillette Walkathon. And then the goal is to raise money and awareness for Gillette Children's Hospital. And then with prom on the horizon, students look forward to the Grand March and the dance at the Wexford this Saturday night. Now for sports, we're in full swing and all 9 teams are competing in games, matches, and meets. The 4th annual Raider Sports Awards will take place on May 4th at Hastings High School, recognizing teams, coaches, alumni, and more than 100 individual student athletes across 20 award categories. The event is free and open to the public, and Adam Gerlach, a graduate from the class of '99, will serve as the alumni guest speaker. We are also excited to announce 2 new head coaching hires, Ms. Kyla Chun for the girls volleyball and Mr. Dustin Vogelsang for boys hockey. Also on May 1st, the Hastings boys varsity tennis team plays Rosemount at Erickson Park. That evening, we are honoring our Mr. Willett, who was the Hastings High School boys tennis coach for about 20 years. He's currently battling stage 2 stomach cancer, and his son happens to play JV for Rosemount, so the hope is to fill up the park with support from Mr. Willett. On to music. The music department has stayed busy as normal. Students are preparing for concerts coming up soon. Solo and ensemble is tonight. Good luck to all those participating. I already had my solo. Went pretty well, if you ask me. And then choir students prepare for our Pops concert in May, and this is the concert where all levels perform a miniature show choir show for their own thing. So pull up to that. I'll be there as well. All right, on to the ALP. 4th quarter is in full swing with a variety of engaging courses and activities underway. Mr. K is once again teaching music production, a course added a few years ago and made possible through the Dauphin Grant, where students create music using FL Studio. We continue to explore additional elective style offerings, especially for full-time ALP students. Mr. Wagi is teaching plant science, guiding students through planting plant varieties and spacing as they work to beautify the alternative school entrance. With this year's projects currently in the planning stages, while students learn the full process from start to finish. Mr. Butler is focusing on local government, enhancing learning, and bringing in guest speakers to discuss their roles. In addition, many events are taking place at the ALP, including preparations for Bonus Week, which is June 1st through 4th, which will focus on teamwork, skill building, and guest speakers. As of April 20th, Hastings High School students have completed 123 credit recovery courses, and the Hastings Online Academy is currently serving 132 students, including 53 full-time and 79 part-time or dual-enrolled students. Let's go to the middle school now. Students have had their MCA tests throughout April, so keep going through. We're almost done with those. And then we have some students that are focusing on the book Wonder this month, which is a great book, definitely a good book to read in middle school. And then the 5th and 6th graders had their school dance, which was very well attended according to them. Web leaders helped facilitate and chaperone, so shout out to those 7th and 8th graders. And then the 7th and 8th grade also had their dance too. And then currently at the Arts Center is an art exhibit featuring dozens of talented middle schoolers and even high schoolers, and it's going through May. So definitely stop by for that because I believe it's free. And then the jazz night is at the middle school tomorrow, so good luck to them. We'll see how they do.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
I do have one question. You had mentioned that you guys started a Dropbox for comments. How is that going?
That is Aiden's little passion project. It's an Avid senior project, so I'm not quite sure how it's going. I hope it's going well. And then we hope to hopefully make action on things that students say, or at least bring it to the attention of all of you. So
you kind of anticipate maybe Aiden will add that to his report?
for sure, hopefully.
All right, thank you. Moving along, now we have our superintendent's report.
Thank you. So just a couple appreciation days. April 6th to the 10th was National Assistant Principals Week, and April 22nd is Administrative Professionals Day. So we thank and do a shout out to all of our administrative professionals as well as our assistant principals. And as was stated, spring sports and concerts are in session, right? I think you can hit a concert every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the month of May. So middle school, high school, we have it all. I did go to the arts show at the Arts Center, and it was lovely. So if you do get an opportunity to go see it, it's really cool. Anne was able to go to that jazz band concert that night, and they're so talented. It was really fun. Also, we have Academic Awards Night coming up Monday, May 18th, Athletic Awards Monday, May 4th, National Honor Society induction, it got moved because of that potential storm that was coming. So it's April 28th at 6:30 p.m. And I just want to give a shout out that at our middle school, you know, we're looking for the next year's web leaders. 156 students have applied and 72 are selected. So that's really awesome. That's a big group. And then I just wanted to give you an update that our STEM classes at all 3 elementaries had a rescue rocket unit, and these can vary by age group. But I want to talk about some of the things that they did because it's pretty amazing. They were introduced to a real-world challenge faced by a fire department. So they had to find a more efficient and consistent way to deliver ropes to victims during water rescues. Your husband would be interested in that. On the first, he could come teach that. On the first day, students explored the problem, brainstormed possible solutions, were guided toward the idea of designing a controllable rescue rocket. So over the course of the project, they conducted a series of structured tests focusing on a single variable. So it's that inquiry piece around science. They first investigated rocket length, affected distance, then explored how the amount and placement of weight influenced performance. So you're getting into that physics. And they tested how much launch angle and launch force impacted results. They used the data collected, they analyzed patterns and determined the optimal settings needed to reach short, medium, and long rescue distances. They then applied their findings to design, test, and refine their own rescue rockets, working through multiple iterations to successfully hit each target. The cool thing is I believe some of that work gets done in the hallway. And I know that Principal Esterby said that they try to hit him as he's walking down, you know. So they have a lot of fun as they're learning, as you can see, all of this complicated and complex science and math. And so it's really fun. So I just wanted to give that shout out.
They sound like doctoral students.
I know.
But when you describe the work that they've been doing,
Right.
or the way that they're thinking.
Yeah. It's really impressive.
Yeah, so for folks who don't know, right, that's at McCullough. That's an elementary school. And this is the STEM class. This is a brand new class that we're offering this year. So this is the first year that we've had it, and it's in all 3 elementary schools, and I've just heard phenomenal things about it. So it's an awesome addition. Yeah, thank you. Next up, we have the 2025 Association of School Business Officials International Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. This is awesome. Jen?
All right, so I am pleased to share that we did get that award. It is an international award, and it is based on our fiscal year ending June 30th of 2025. So it looks at our annual comprehensive financial report. It reflects a high standard of transparency and clarity in how we present our financial information. It's also a strong affirmation of the work we're doing to be good stewards of public resources and to communicate that work effectively. So I want to recognize our district office team, my fellow administrators, and our auditors who all contributed to the work that it takes. It's definitely a team effort. And we're proud of the accomplishment and look to just build on it as we move forward each year.
And as treasurer, I want to comment that nobody has said this could not happen without Jennifer Subert, the director of finance. And so thank you.
I would just like to also comment, our finance team works really, really hard to ensure that we do things accurately. You know, Minnesota school finance is the most complex in the nation, and this team does an excellent job in ensuring that we're abiding by all of the requirements that they bestow on us. And so I too want to say thank you to Jen and her team specifically. As a superintendent, that was a draw for me to come to this district because we're financially healthy and we are always looking at opportunities to ensure that we use our resources in good stewardship to our taxpayers. So I just want to say it's a big deal to get this award, and thank you very much to the team.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much for all your hard work in keeping us in the shape that we're in. I'll say it's a lot better than a lot of districts around the state right now. So we definitely appreciate all the efforts. Next, we have our response to the NAPAC vote of non-concurrence.
So I'll just let the board and public know that a document was sent to Chair Humphrey and the entire Hastings NAPAC committee. And what was provided is on February 25th, the Hastings Native American Parent Advisory Committee, or NAPAC, provided a vote of non-concurrence indicating that Hastings Public Schools has not been in compliance with the guidelines set forth by the Minnesota Department of Education and Office of American Indian Education. The Hastings School Board, District Superintendent, Cabinet members, and our Native American liaison have reviewed your written recommendations, and the responses are noted below. American Indian Language and Culture course. Immediately begin the process of identifying and securing qualified American Indian language and culture instructors or community-based partners who can deliver this programming and be open to all students, not just Native students. Our response to that is the district will secure a qualified American Indian language and culture instructor to deliver programming to students in at least one identified site in the 26-27 school year. I'm proud to announce, however, that we did receive a grant, and so we are able to hire 2 FTE from the funding of that grant to support our American Indian language and culture instruction that occurs across our entire district. So we're very excited about that. The timing of this and that crossed. So we're announcing it here. Develop the requirement of developing a Native American education implementation plan. The request is work collaboratively with the NAPAC and Office of American Indian Education at MDE and the Tribal Education Department at Prairie Island and/or the Tribal Nations Education Committee to develop an implementation plan with a clear and accountable timeline. Our response is the Director of Teaching and Learning will lead the work in creating a Native American education implementation and action plan. This includes supporting our Native American learners, implementing Indigenous education Education for All and our Native Language and Culture course or courses. The work will be done with input from our NAPAC committee and collaboration with the Office of the OAE office, as well as additional partners. The work will begin on April 2nd at our NAPEC meeting and complete by June 30th. Funding allocation, allocate funding from the general district budgets, not to be totally reliant on the American Indian funding, to fully support and sustain full-time American Indian education positions of this nature. Again, we just talked about the grant, and so we'll be able to offer the 2.0 FTE. So again, this is looking less than that, but it was prior to us realizing we had been awarded the grant. So this is up for the vote here by the board tonight, and I just wanted to make this known to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Director Bruns?
2 comments on that. I think it's wonderful how, I want to say black and white, but not necessarily, but how binary, how actionable those steps are that are outlined. And next week we'll be voluntarily going to TNIC, so Tribal Nations Education Council, so to be able to bring this forward as a really solutions-oriented district, and thank you for that work. Thank you for your work on that grant. That's fantastic. I think it's nice where we've been in the past, even at TNIC, compared to where we can be next week will be huge and substantial.
Nice job. Nice job.
Yes, well done. Thank you. Next, we have our building construction fund project update with Ms. Subert.
Okay, so just a quick reminder that the Building Construction Fund accounts for the money the district received from the voter-approved bonds for school renovations and improvements. We currently have about $471,000 in the fund. The unallocated amount is $211,000, and we know that we're holding some of that for arbitrage, but we also are continuing to approve additional projects. So you'll see later in the agenda tonight, there is one for board approval. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
All right, thank you. And next, we've got our data request update from Ms. Mullen.
Good evening. We have had 4 additional data requests since the last school board meeting, and right now I currently have 10 requests that are pending and in progress. And this current month, we had $371 in data requests, costs related to data requests on legal fees.
Thank you. Next, we have our school board representatives and committees, committee reports. First up, we have ISD 917 with Director Zuzik.
2 big things. One is we're still moving forward with developing a new strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. And we don't know if it's going to be 3 years or 5 years. It depends on how the plan shakes out at 917. And then the second thing I want to say is that this month, we had our board meeting at one of the sites, which is really important for us because remember that there's 27 different sites that 917 serves. And in those 27 different sites, there's 17 programs. So it was really important for us to get out and actually see the space that education happens in. It reminds me, and I'm a little bit premature because we've been together as a board now for almost 2 years, 2.5, 3 years. And we're all familiar with most of our sites, but as we get new members, because that's a natural way for a board to happen, it's important to get out and see sites. That's the takeaway that I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, next up we have AMSD from, again, Director Zuzik.
Thank you. Ms. Humble, if you can skip over the board agenda and just jump to that. You're already there. No wonder she's an employee of this semester, right? Come on. I wanted you to be aware of this. This is something that the Association of Metropolitan School Districts, in collaboration with some other groups, is working on, and it's basically it's a public relations campaign for public schools, because the sense is, and I don't disagree with this, public schools are unfairly beaten down at times, and right now it's challenging. And so we're looking at a campaign that shows And if you'll go to, let's see, I'm watching where you are. That's perfect. That's perfect. If you can go to Minnesota Kids Rise, perfect. I just want to read this one. She was already there, wasn't she? I bet she was. I bet she was. Of course she was. Okay, as leaders in Minnesota, it's our job to promote and protect public education. We need to work to change the conversation and narrative around public education in the state of Minnesota. Despite the imperfections of public schools, garnishing support and strengthening our public schools is still our state's best hope for having an educational populace, reducing the achievement gap, and having future-ready workforce. I wanted to just say that, doesn't that sound like something that all of us as board members can jump on, right? I mean, that's pinnacle. And then, if you will, please move ahead to, don't just guess. I'm going to actually tell you a slide.
We're on the edge of our seats.
If you go to slide 8. See, she would have guessed ahead. Is that slide 8? Go to slide 9. I screwed it up. Just for the record, she didn't know that I was wrong. So. Thank you, Ms. Humble. Here's what I wanted you to know. The big release of this public relations campaign will be around the state fair. Not a surprise, right? So you'll see this when you go into the education building, and just keep an eye out for it. And this shows you the sorts of things that we're hoping to communicate, and that's it.
All right, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our Community Collaboration Committee update from Director Michael Mulder.
Yeah, thanks. We had an amazing event on April 1st. We had a lot of the community show up, staff and community members, board members, and it was really wonderful. We've heard great things about it. We felt like there was good momentum that started there, and it's not going to stop there. So one of the things that we had a meeting right before this meeting to talk about the agenda for the next meeting. We also talked at the work sessions briefly amongst the board members about the topics that were raised, stirring kind of interest in how to go deeper into some of the subjects. And the heightened concern was trust and respect between board and staff. So our next meeting, we are going to hone in on that. We have some questions already proposed, which will be on the flyers that will go out here in the next couple weeks. The next community collaboration event, we're going to hone in on staff. So we're going to have a board and staff community collaboration event. That's going to be May 26th from 4 to 5:30 in the high school commons. We're really hoping that a lot of people can show up, try to make it accessible with time for staff to come. Hopefully the 4 to 5:30 is a hospitable time for everybody, and obviously we're going to be welcoming feedback about that as well during the meeting. Following that one, we're going to have another event in October, which is going to be a follow-up of the May 26th event. We're also going to host a community collaboration event for the greater community, also focused on trust and respect between the board and the community. And that's going to be on June 8th from 6 to 7:30. And that's going to be at the high school lecture center. Is that what it's called? Lecture hall. Again, the questions that we're going to pose are going to be on the flyers themselves. So I encourage the community to keep an eye out for those flyers. We really, really, really love the feedback. We love the energy. We want to build this relationship. We want to just build the dialogue and build respect and trust amongst us. So please take some time, look at the questions, take time before coming to the event to come up with, noodle around, some ideas that you would like to bring forth so that we can have a really robust dialogue and a robust conversation. We're really excited about where this is going. Thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Mark's just ready over here. All right.
I am.
Yep. Next up is Facilities Finance Committee with Director Zuzik again.
For the record, when I left the last meeting, I apologized to my colleagues because I said, I really don't know what I will write down for notes. So these are the shortest notes I've ever had, the shortest minutes I've ever had. But the gist of it is, we've already done number one, which is we've talked about with the school board on April 8th, the authority of and of our overview and operating of referendum expiration dates and what that means and how complex it gets and some of the decisions that are related to that. We've been working with a vendor. The vendor's name is Ehlers and Associates to help us to make decisions and understand things. The other thing that is really a challenge for us in regard to facilities and finance is this conversation around where will gymnastics be held. And right now, it is held in the South Gym at the middle school. For the public to know, that's one of 3 gym floors that we have. One of 3 gym floors is used for about 3 months out of the year. It's set up for gymnastics, which means really it can't be used for anything else. Unfortunately, well, I guess just serendipitously, not unfortunately, it is a winter sport, which is troublesome because kids can't go outside in the winter for Phi-Ed. So it's at the time that gym space is most valuable. We have one gym out of play for our middle school. And that's the problem that we're trying to solve. And we've been scratching our heads on this for 2 years, 3 years, 3 years. And we talked about it at our last work session on April 8th. And I believe that we're carrying that forward to our next work session, which will be our May work session and the second week of May. So this is a challenge that we're really trying to solve, and it's complex. I want to thank everybody for their patience on that, the community for their patience on that, the middle school Phi-Ed teachers for their patience on that, and we are trying to fix it and solve it. And then the last one is, and Ms. Subert alluded to this one, but this is respectfully a slam dunk. There's a door that goes between the cafeteria and the kitchen area at Pinecrest, and it isn't appropriate for a bunch of people to move through quickly, and it's not appropriate as an evacuation space if indeed there was a horrible, terrible, very bad day at Pinecrest and we needed to evacuate the cafeteria. And so we've discussed the importance of the safety related to the need of changing that door frame and the door itself. And we recommend approval because we believe that not only are the resources adequate, but it aligns with the referendum's purpose. So, and it's $10,500. That's the cost of it as we understand it now. Our next meeting is April 30th at 1 o'clock. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Comments? All right. Moving on, we have our Joint Powers Committee update from Director Milner.
Yeah, so we met on April 14th and unfortunately continued to make refinements to the facility lease agreement. So that is still not finalized yet, but there were just some things that we caught that we want to make sure is clear and concise before that gets finalized. The capital projects and major maintenance, we talked about the joint maintenance facility. And again, for folks who don't know, that's the building that's right out this way that we share with the city. And so, of course, costs and upkeep and things like that are between the both of us. So the roof replacement needs to happen within the next couple of years, and that includes removing rooftop equipment, replacing rooftop equipment. And we were also made aware that there's a makeup air unit that is not activating when CO2 levels rise. So we got to get that replaced. Urethane caulking goes up the walls in between tip-up cement or concrete panels on the walls, and that needs to be redone. So the estimated cost of that is $772,000 with a proposed split, the way that we split the owning of the building with the city. So 45-55. And then we were a little surprised because it became aware to us that there is also a varsity hockey locker room roof that needs to be replaced as well. And we're not sure why this didn't get done when they were doing all of the other roofing at the same time, but their understanding is that it should be paid for by the district based on some old agreements. So we're looking into all of that. Apparently the current estimate is $245,000. I shouldn't say current. The estimate is $245,000, but that's an old, like years old estimate. So we know that it's going to be unfortunately higher than that. But we also brought back to their attention that the district cannot legally fund capital improvements for a facility we do not own. So then it was kind of brought up that there's probably going to be another increase in what we're owing for hockey lease for the locker room. Yes. And as you guys might remember, we already had an increase in our ice fees quite dramatically last year. We went up to, let me make sure I say it right, we went up to $270 per hour with a premium usage fee of $55 per hour above other non-premium times, I guess is the way to say it. And so we're paying a lot already for our ice fees. And then now with this kind of being dropped on us, it was a bit of a shocker. So just so you, the public is aware of what's happening at the hockey arena again. And then community and regional partnerships, this is kind of an exciting piece, is that, you know, as a board, we would really like to build relationships not only with our city, but also with our surrounding towns and townships and make sure that we're getting info from them and they're getting info from us so that we have a really good working relationship between what's happening, what needs are. It might be tax-related communications, road construction, you know, is busing going to need to be different for some of our students, things like that. So we've started that relationship building priority. And then city and school district updates. So the city kind of talked to us a little bit about the 61 project, the big road construction project that's going to be a big pain for everybody, but it'll be awesome when it's all done. But the East Todd Field wall has to be moved in order to make the turn lane on 61 there bigger. So that's probably going to be one of the first things that started. You'll see some work on that. And our next meeting is July 14th, 7:30 to 9. If anybody would like to join us nice and early at Tilden, room 117, 7:30 to 9. Yes. Oh, yes. And then we met 2 days later. We met as a smaller committee without the city 2 days later. And just made sure that we covered all of the townships that we represent and the cities. And so that was a group effort by all of us to make sure we're not forgetting anybody in the communication of building that relationship. And the representation should be our 3 committee school board members, superintendent, director of finance, administrative assistant, and then of the cities and townships, mayor, if there's one, represented, and then a counselor, board member, staff representative, just someone who can represent those townships and cities for us. And then the proposed discussion topics are listed there. I won't read them all to you, but if anybody has suggestions on what we can collaborate on better, we're open for that as well too. So we'd be happy to hear input on that as well. Frequency of those is probably going to be quarterly, and we'd like to rotate locations so that we can visit all of the places and make sure we're getting out to the people that we represent.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Director Drisler.
So I do have one question. I could be mistakenly thinking this, but I just want to clarify. Didn't we say before that we needed some kind of 5-10 year heads up when those kind of projects were recommended or suggested? Did we put that in contract? Yep.
We did.
Okay.
Yes. We had those conversations in the committee to talk about how we need to do long-term financial planning.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I didn't do that. So thank you.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right.
I just want to comment, well done on your report, Ms. Milner, and I appreciate that we're going out and about. That's so important. And if there's anything I can do, and I'm not part of that subcommittee, and if I were to show up, it would be a quorum. So, but if somebody isn't there, I can show up. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Same.
All right, awesome. We'll have a volunteer list.
Right.
Yes. All right, and next up, we have the Wellness Committee Liaison Update, again from Director Milner.
Thank you. This is the first one of these I've been in on, and so it was a fun online meeting. I didn't have to come to the district office for this one, so I like how that was set up. It was well led. They talked about the SHIP grant update. There are acoustic panels being installed in the middle school cafeteria, and my last understanding, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but they're being kind of redistributed to maximize the dampening of the sound. So we needed 1,700 total. We got 428 with a $10,000 grant through the SHIP grant. And so obviously there's still some that could be used, but they're trying to strategically place them to make it quieter in the lunchroom, which I think is amazing idea. It's really loud in there. And so they're going to figure out by October if those 428 panels make a big difference and they don't need the rest, or can other grant opportunities be explored if the sound isn't dampened enough. And then student wellness surveys, parent and staff surveys are coming out. I saw that in this week's Rater update, there was already links in there, and parents can see the questions. And so if there's any concern, please make sure you look at your Rater update and click on the links that were provided. The communication on this has been really good, and there's just some more information about those surveys that I listed on this report. And then lastly, we already kind of talked about it, May 6th is a vape waste collection and awareness event. It aligns with Earth Day initiative. So really the purpose behind it is to make sure all of that stuff doesn't end up in our landfills, because who knows what that's doing to our earth, dumping all that stuff. And so last year when they had this, they gathered a 5-gallon bucket full of all of the waste. And so we're hoping this year to make sure that we get more of that stuff to not enter our landfills. And it is an anonymous event. So like if you're turning in your stuff, you're not getting in trouble, you're helping our earth. And so our next upcoming meeting is not until October 21st, 3:30 to 4, and it's a Google Meet.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, I just have to say, that those panels being needed is an awesome problem to have, because we have a cell phone policy in place where students cannot have their cell phones all day long, and so they're actually talking to each other, right? So this is fantastic, right? Now we need to just dampen down the sound of the talking, but it's good. It's a good problem to have. Next up, we have our RightWorks liaison update from Director Dressley. No, sorry.
No.
Director Burns.
No worries. This is the annual meeting, so the agenda and the materials that went with it are very dense. This year they're celebrating 50 years of BrightWorks. So the first 45 minutes really spent going from non-existent to today and the work that they've done, and then really looking at the impact of the things that they're doing right now. If you remember, we talked about Help Me Grow in the past. That's a BrightWorks initiative, so their support to communities and family members as they look to supports through early childhood, secondary, special education is a big thing. They also are a leader for the apprenticeship program. They're excited to announce that there is a grant through the state for the next 3 years to keep that going. And what's important about apprenticeship, and I do believe that's a great way when you think about a carpenter and electrician, like you're really growing through the profession. It costs the district anywhere from $11,000 to $22,000 every time a teacher leaves. So if you think about what onboarding and induction looks like through the apprenticeship model, as opposed to someone you hire and hope that they work within that existing model, the success rate and the return is higher. So it's a nice way to capitalize and really get the staff you want and upload them with the skills you want them to have. The next big piece is all of their work through Compass. If you are familiar at all, it's all of them. It's a brain trust of the folks at BrightWorks. And Compass will work collaboratively with districts. You come to them and they'll come in and do a gap assessment. What are your needs? And then they have cohorts of professional development and professionals that guide that over the course of years to help you close that gap that you have. And so that is a source for all districts. So I encourage anyone that's listening or any district leadership that is identifying something they want some partnership with, they want a second set of eyes from outside of the district to come through. It's an excellent resource. And then for education professionals, some professional development that I would recommend that I have been to since it started 2 years ago, but the Compass Instructional Institute in the summertime, June 16th and 17th this year at St. Paul's River Center. The PD in that is fantastic, and it's really high level, and it centers really around Minnesota MTSS is where a lot of the work is, and that's really about knowing what resources you have, how to appropriately use them at your tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 to make sure you're capturing the needs of all learners, and different districts share where they are on that pipeline and bring you assets that you can use. And there are a lot of people that I've worked with in the past that I trust their wisdom, and they lean into the research as well. That is something I couldn't recommend highly enough. They had about 1,400 attendees last year, and the cost is $0. So I would encourage going.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have NAPAC with, again, Director Bruns.
Yeah, we talked about the board's response to non-concurrence, or that was coming, and we brought up to this meeting. And so, again, I appreciate that response. I think it's comprehensive and hits it right on where the needs are. I uploaded them on some things that we were going to cover in our upcoming work session. So that was future news. Now it's old news, but to them it wasn't a thing yet. So we'll probably touch on that again. We were lucky enough to have Matt Esterby in the audience as well, and he shared the experiences of students there and successes, especially around literacy, that they're experiencing at the youngest levels. So you think about full implementation of those things that we've talked about when it comes to curriculum and the READ Act and our teachers' professional development. They're looking at, let me know if I'm getting the data wrong, but like 90% success rates in that kindergarten level. Like that is impressive. And that is something you can stack a lot of W's on top of. And they're also doing a curriculum review just to see to what extent students see themselves in the resources that they're using, so where they can supplement and still meet the learning targets and the intention of that scope and sequence. That is something they're going to be highly intentional about. And then we had a ton of fantastic updates from a guy who's in the audience tonight. It's almost like a water hose of information, so I encourage you to read through it, but it highlights where some of the funding would come through for our future Native American positions to support those culture roles, and a healthy budget for the committee, and then the curriculum work that's happening at the secondary level. We have the graduation celebration event on May 5th at 5:30 p.m. at the high school. I highly encourage everyone to go. And then, like I said before, we'll be at TNIC next week voluntarily, which is always highly encouraged because you're coming forward, you're sharing your progress and trying to get that input back and figure out where your gaps are. So it's really cool. And to do it proactively is a solid nod to how intentional we think that word should be.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Any questions? Sounds good. And then, again, Director Bruns, Student School Board
Yeah,
Committee
these are stacked on
update.
purpose, right? This is fantastic. We had 8 total applicants, and because of discussions that we had in the past about how we would handle juniors who will be future seniors applying, we are moving forward with 5 interviews. As a committee, we did discuss that would change in the future because now that grant application is wide open for folks. We really want to expand that field and have folks re-interview and run that all the way through. But we'll be interviewing candidates 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, anonymous for now, but all of the arrangements have been made. Director Milner and I, along with Principal Dorn, will interview those students, probably take a couple hours, and then we will deliberate as a committee and then call those folks that we're selecting to join us for the next school year.
Thank you. And then finally, we have our policy committee update with Director Dressel.
So the policy committee met twice this month, and I'm just going to kind of overview on some of the things we did because we did some major things that you guys will be seeing in the future. Policy 203 all of the procedures that go along under that policy, we're combining together into one procedure. We just think it's going to flow a lot better, and it's all having to do with how we operate our meetings. So, but tonight for first reading, we got policy 203, operations of the school board, governing roles. Policy 302, superintendent contract duties and evaluations. And this one is a combination of 2 different policies, policy 302, superintendent, and policy 304, superintendent contract duties and evaluations. And you'll see later in the summary, we're also recommending that we first reading to sunset policy 304, superintendent contracts, duties and evaluations, because we've included that all in 302. The next one is 410, family and medical leave. This one came to us because of the statutory updates, but we're recommending 3 readings just because of the substantial language changes in there. And so we're recommending this as a 3 reading policy, and it'll count as our review on that policy as well. Then first reading to sunset is 304, like I mentioned. And then first reading consent is policy 530, immunization requirements, and this is all based on statutory requirements to change the language. I do want to mention policy 419. So the following revisions to policy 419, tobacco-free environment, is recommended for immediate adoption due to the timing of the vape waste awareness event from Dakota County scheduled for May 6, 2026. The revision adds one sentence at the end of section 3B, which reads, "The only exception to this policy is participation in the vape waste collection and awareness event at the high school." So during our action items, that's why I will be making that motion to adopt the policy in a single meeting. Any questions?
I have a comment, and following our last work session, we were talking a little bit about policy and how Jessica is like the queen bee of policy. And I just wanted to put it out there. I know I've had a couple questions that have come up about policy, how it's done, how we come up with it. And after a conversation with Jessica at the last meeting, it was very aware, like if you have questions, Jessica's an amazing resource. And I just want to kind of not market you, but also like, if you have a question about how a policy came to be, how it works, the nuance, she really is a wealth of knowledge, and she is welcome to be a resource for people. And I'm not saying that because I created that welcome. It was coming from Jessica. So.
Absolutely. If anybody's ever got a question about policy, I'm more than happy to go down that road with you. So please reach out.
So along those lines, I feel like we should just mention how the policy committee operates. Quickly, we have 3 board members. We have the superintendent and we have the administrative assistant who are at every single policy meeting. On top of that, any department that's affected by a policy change, the department lead is invited. So many times we'll have Mr. Hodges over here attend. We'll have principals in the room. We'll have a nurse in the room. We'll have, finance. We'll have HR. We'll have whoever is touched by a policy change. They are invited to be sure that we hear what their input is on those changes. And then when we need to, obviously we consult with legal to make sure that we're not, doing anything against any, and I mean, all of our policies, we're ensuring that we're following, it's our job, right, to follow all state and federal laws. That's our job as a board to make sure that we're doing that. So obviously we're not going to make, as a committee, we're not going to make any recommendations that would ever go against laws. So we don't want to get the district in trouble. So that's kind of how we operate. Sometimes we meet once a month, sometimes it's twice a month. This month it's 3 times in April. And our meetings are typically an hour long, sometimes an hour and a half long. But that's the gist of it, and that's how we operate. And we typically do with any policy changes that we're recommending, we do 3 readings. So basically it's 2 full months of time for anybody to give input, to give feedback on those. The exceptions would be when we're sunsetting something, and typically we only sunset if we are putting that language in somewhere else and making sure at least all the statutory language is covered somewhere else. That's a 2 reading, so that's a 1 full month opportunity. The only time, like you mentioned, we do a one and done type of a thing. Well, there's 2 instances. We're doing both of them tonight. One is when there are statutory changes, so it's in the law. So we have to abide by the law. So we change that in one meeting if we're only changing the policy, if the only language is to abide by the change in law. The second time is an emergency instance. And tonight it was designated that since we have this vape event coming up, technically against current policy, it is against policy for students to bring any vape devices onto school property. So we have this vape event coming. We wanted to make sure that we could still have it. So because of the timing, we are adding this one sentence into it to make sure that the vape event is the one and only exception as far as when students can bring these to school, and it's acceptable, right? So anyway, just wanted to give that summary. So there's hopefully a better understanding of how we operate and who we talk to.
And I just want to mention that we don't pull the policies out of thin air. We have a 3-year policy review cycle that's well documented and that's available for the public to see. It's at the top of every policy committee summary. So you can see when we're going to be, we look at 13 to 16 policies every quarter, and it's pretty well laid out. So
can you just address, you're reviewing these policies, but you're modeling them off of model policies that we get from it. Can you just touch on that?
So MSBA provides a set of model policies, and all of our policies start from that framework. We definitely do change language quite a bit, actually, to conform with our district, but that is the starting point, and they're such a great, we couldn't do it without them. They're such a great resource for us, not only as school board members, but I'm sure the administration as well. And that's where they all start from. But we do make a lot of changes to conform to our district.
Yeah, I would only add that, for instance, the organization of the district itself is 100. So 100 series is the organization of the district. The school board is 200. And then students are generally 500. And curriculum and instruction is generally 600. And so as we go through these, we get to different policies at different times. And there's some times that we're swimming through some really thick policies. And there's some times when, like, frankly, the 200s are pretty thin. A lot of those are 2- and 3-page policies. And so I just want to concur with my colleagues, Chair Tate and Director Dressley, that if it wasn't for a careful look on what we could do, we wouldn't have been working so closely with MSBA that they're asking us, hey, what are you doing about this? And I appreciate that, Jessica, you commented that, we lean on them, but they're looking back to us and saying, hey, you guys you're out in front, you're really good at what you're doing. And I really appreciate both of you in that and the priority that we as a board have put on policy. So thank you.
Director Biermeyer?
Yeah, I'd like to just say thank you. We have an elite policy committee, very talented people there, and you do a lot of heavy lifting for us, so thank you for that.
And then I would like to thank you for mentioning about when it's not statute driven, MSBA tells you to make it fit your community and your schools. So that's why it's really important that we have staff at the table, the administrators and directors at the table to help make sure that it fits our own buildings and processes.
Sorry, I just have a question. When you kind of put the feelers out for the is it just the committee heads that kind of come there, or is there like an invitation to whoever, or how does that work?
So the policies, since they're laid out, Christine does invite, and Lindy invites the appropriate directors and principals. Principals are at a lot of our policy committee meetings, and directors are there quite a bit too, actually. Yeah. It's quite a collaboration, and the policy might be in front of the committee 3, 4, 6, 12 months before you guys ever see it here at the board table, because that's how much back and forth is going on about it. There's other policies that happen in one meeting, but there are those policies that take us quite a bit of time to go through and get right so that we have what is appropriate to recommend to you guys.
Yeah, so when the community observes that there are policies that might be out of order or out of the synchronous, design that we have, it's mostly because we're digging deeper and taking more time to get it right. And so there are some that we slow down on, and there's some that we slow down a lot on. So.
Thank you. All right, anything else before we go into action items? All right, we are into our consent agenda. Could I please get a motion on this, please?
Michael Mulder moves to approve the consent agenda.
Milner seconds.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously to approve the consent agenda. And then we are into our items for individual action. First one is very fun. Jen, you might appreciate this. We are looking to approve the last day for seniors to be May 29th. Could I get a motion on this, please?
Michael Mulder moves.
Thank you.
Brunson second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the last day for seniors to be May 29th, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously to approve the last day of seniors for May 29th.
Good answer.
Next, we are looking at our donations acceptance resolution. Could I get a motion on this item, please?
I make the motion to accept the resolution and waive the reading.
Thank you.
Mike Mulder seconds.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, could we please get a roll call vote on the resolution? Director Milner.
Director Biermeyer.
Aye.
Director Michael Mulder.
Aye.
Director Zuzek.
Aye.
Vice Chair
Aye.
Dressley. Oops.
Aye.
Vice Chair Dressley. Chair Tate.
Aye.
Director Bruns.
Aye.
And Director Milner, aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously to accept the donations. And I'd just like to again give a shout out to our very generous community. This month we received just under $66,000 worth of donations. It's absolutely amazing.
I just have to comment on that because it's like, obviously, I just, again, applaud our staff and the people who make this place work because community members wouldn't be showing up and donating this kind of money without some amazing work. So I just, yeah, take my hat off. Thanks to the people who are donating, but also like, thanks for the people who are making this district attractive that people want to donate to it, so.
Absolutely. All right, and then finally, the policy 419 that we have been discussing, and I haven't had a chance to actually read it, so I'd like to just see if we can pull it up, and I can't pull it up on my screen. For some reason, it won't work. So there is the sentence that was added. Only exception of this policy is participation in the vape waste collection and awareness event at the high school. Did we want to add in Dakota County?
Can we add in Dakota County, please?
Yep. The Dakota County vape waste collection?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So does everybody agree to? Okay. I will add that before
Okay.
it gets.
Dakota County vape waste collection and awareness event at the high school. That's the new verbiage to add. All right. With that, I'm looking for a motion on this item.
I make the motion to approve policy 419 with the edit of adding Dakota County.
Second.
Okay, Mark's mic wasn't on, but he said second. Any discussion? Still not. You're good.
And then you second.
All right, any discussion? All right, with that, all those in favor of approving policy 419 with the amended statement, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously to approve the amended 419. Again, we determined this was an emergency situation requiring that change to be done in one reading, in one meeting. Next up, I'm looking at future meetings. We have our policy committee meeting. Next one is April 30th at noon in the district office. And then
11:30.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it got changed just recently, so this needs to be updated. But yes, it's 11:30 to 1 in the district office on April 30th, and then following that, at 1 o'clock starts the finance committee meeting. May 6th, I can't believe we're already heading into May. 5 o'clock, we have our student school board committee meeting also in the district office. And then right after that, again, at 6 p.m., we have our work session right here in the Middle School Media Center. I'm sorry, my computer just went blank. All right, fun. All right. And then May 20th is at 6 p.m. is our regular board meeting, again, right here.
Chair Tate, if I can add,
Go ahead.
what's the date of the EL banquet right before our board meeting?
I believe that's the May 20th one.
Is that the May 20?
Let me look. Yes, starting at 5 o'clock.
So at 5 o'clock,
Outside.
there's a English language learner picnic, and hopefully all of us can be there. It's so important to them, and I think it's important for us. Thank you.
May 20th, yes. Starting at 5 o'clock. All right. And I apologize. I usually have my, where is it? There we go. I will go through the topics that we're going to have in May here, if I can get the file open. Sorry, my computer's not being cooperative tonight. All right, at our work session, we are going to be getting a presentation on kindergarten readiness. We'll be talking about the Minnesota Student Survey results that Hastings specifically has. And we'll be talking about the operating referendum expiration and budget review. We'll be talking about details around commencement. And then each year we have a tradition where board members come and serve seniors lunch for their last day of school. So for your super cool, hopefully outdoor picnic. It's always fantastic. And then we'll be getting an update on our new vision card and data dashboard. We will also be talking about the timeline associated with our superintendent performance review. And then we will be getting a gymnastics update. So that is the May 6th work session. And then the regular meeting on May 20th, we will be announcing our new student school board representatives. So that will be exciting. We'll be getting, we're going to start our new, what are we calling them? Teacher presentations. We had talked about this at our work session with the principals and their reports and asking if we can add in some teacher presentations. We'll be getting our first one, and that will be talking about Socratic seminars at the elementary level, so that'll be exciting. We'll be getting our spring Fast Bridge update, our local literacy plan update, and then our staff development plan will also be presented. Let me see, any other highlights? We're going to be rolling into election season, so we'll be starting to vote on resolutions tied to the election this fall. For folks who don't know, we have 3 seats on this board up for election this fall, and it's Director Zuzik, Director Dressley, and myself. So, and then we will be looking at adopting the 26-27 budget. And hopefully we will have our joint maintenance facility contract to vote on, as well as potentially a Site Logic contract as well. So that's what we've got coming up in May. Any questions? All right. And with that, I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
It's pretty early. One thing real quick.
Yeah.
This weekend, the Hootenanny, it's the greatest event in the city for what it's working towards, and Director Bruns will be performing, so if you can make it down, it is a super event downtown.
It's a hoot.
It is a hoot. I didn't want to say that.
Yes, for folks who don't know, it's a fundraiser. It's a lot of live bands down on 2nd Street. Pretty much every bar and restaurant you can imagine. You can just go all night long, just kind of walk from place to place to place and hear great live music. And it's a fundraiser for the music programs here. So it's absolutely phenomenal.
I'm bored. Yeah. Matt, did you get that?
All right, so with that, now I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
Michael Mulder moves to adjourn.
Milner seconds.
Oh, she beat you. All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes